Many of you have already seen pictures and reels of Liberator here, and I have finished it, but the trigger pull feels kind of heavy, and I like to have it a little lighter. So I figured as a first step, I'll change my trigger pin spring. And since I have to do that, I figured I might as well show you guys how to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Liberator is on the bench top. And as I said before, we're going to be swapping the 6-pound firing pin spring to the 4-pound spring. Now, before we get started, I just want to let you know that the 6-pound firing pin spring is for self-defense and the 4-pound spring is for sports shooting only. So it is definitely suggested that you only use these springs for what their intended use is. So with that being said, you know what we have to do. We have to talk about tools. Now, these are some of the tools that you may or may not need. Now, this is just a variety of tools. You won't need all of these, but I'm hoping that you might have something that looks like this to be able to do this job. So you might have a roll pin punch. You might have a straight hook tool, or any one of these hook tools will do. Now, this is a handy dandy tool. This is my range tool that I take. If you know, Vism is made by a company called Vism, and it has different tips that you put into here. And the one that you would use for this particular job would be this one here, because it acts as the same as the roll pin or one of these punches. So that will come in handy, and you could use this, or this has a hole here that we'll show you how to use when changing your firing pin spring. So those are the tools that you're going to need. Like I said, you won't need them all, but if you have something similar to this, then you'll be able to get the job done. All right, so here we have Liberator slide. We have this frame off to the side because we won't be needing it. So the first thing you want to do is remove the slide and then take out your recoil spring. Set it to the side, take out your barrel. Set that to the side. All right, now what you'll have to do is you have your firing pin sleeve that's right inside there. So if you look inside, you can see it right there. The firing pin sleeve is right there. What you'll need to do is you'll need to push this down to be able to take the tension off the back plate. So what you want to do is you want to put your punch or your pin or your hook tool or whatever you have. You can even, if you have a flathead screwdriver that's small enough, you can fit it in there, and you're going to push it down. Okay, I don't know if you can see, you're just going to push it down. It's going to relieve the tension off the back plate. So all you do is relieve the tension off the back plate and slowly push the back plate out, keeping your thumb there, because what's going to happen is those springs are going to want to fly away. If you heard the click, that's the click of the firing pin spring coming up. Now you can remove your firing pin, remove your plunger. All right, move your safety plunger. Make sure that spring doesn't go flying away also. And you have your back plate. Go ahead and set your back plate to the side. Now, with all of that being out, you want to sit this to the side, okay? So now you have your firing pin spring. Now, because you have the caps here, we want to be able to remove them without them flying away, all right? So what you're going to do is, if you have a real Avid armorer's block, or like I said before, you have this. Now, what some people don't know is this hole here is designed to be able to remove, to hold the firing pin while you remove the caps, okay? So you want to put that right in there, like that. All right, and now it holds in place for you to be able to push down and remove the tension off of the spring-loaded cups, or the spring cups, okay? So now you remove your spring cups, all right, put those to the side, and now the spring is off, all right? Now you can do the same thing with the real Avid armorer's block. You can put it in like that, and then it holds it in place, okay? So either one, if you have the Vism armorer's tool, which this goes with me to the range. That way, if I have to do any surgery at the range, I can do so. Or you can use the real Avid. I don't think it fits in any of these holes, so definitely that one there. And it will allow you to be able to push the spring down, because you almost need 3 hands to do this. Okay, so now that you have the old spring off, let me set that to the side. Let me go ahead and put this spring to the side. And just to verify that I have the correct spring going on, that should be the 6-pound spring, which is the shorter of the 2 springs. Okay, so 6-pound spring is the short one. All right, as you can see, this is the one that just came off. It's a lot shorter than the 4-pound spring. All right, so the 4-pound spring is going to be your long one, and I'm going to put that one on there so I have a little better of a trigger pull, or a little lighter trigger pull. So I'm going to put that on there. Now, you want to be very careful, because when you install these spring cups, the spring cups cannot be, and I'll put a picture over it so you can see it better. The spring cups have to be a certain way. So the spring cups have to be, this crease for the spring cups have to be over the end of the spring. Okay, it can't be perpendicular, because then it'll mess up. All right, so when you put these in, you want to make sure that those spring cups are on correctly, because if they're not, your firearm will have problems. So now this is the hardest part, guys. Make sure that when you're pushing this down, and there are tools, other tools for this, but you don't need them. I found it easier just to do it with my hands. And you push it down, and then you just put the spring cup. See, I almost lost it. You got to be very, very careful, because the spring is under tension. All right, put one spring cup in there, and put the other on the other side. And it might take you, 2 or 3 chances to do this, because it's not easy, but you can do it. All right, so just easy, just like that. It is on there, and I'll just make sure that my gaps are where they should be. Yep, make sure it's across the right way. All right, and it's back on there. So then now, all we have to do is do the reverse, put it back in, and Bob's your uncle. So what you do is you take the firing pin, you put the firing pin back in, you take your safety plunger, put that in, and remember, guys, the plunger, the bearing is always going to go toward the back. The end of the plunger goes toward the extractor, and the bearing goes toward the back plate. All right, so that's the easy way to remember. Polymer to polymer, even if you have a metal back plate, still polymer to polymer and metal to metal. So you put that in there. Now, if you don't have nails like I have, you can use a pencil, something real simple, a pencil eraser. Push that down, take your back plate, slide it in until it goes over the firing pin sleeve. Okay, so then what you want to do is be very careful that you push the plunger down, or push the bearing down, but be very careful, because again, it will eject into the stratosphere and you might lose it. So you just push it down, and if you can't get it with your finger, use your punch or use your hook tool to push it all the way down. Keep your thumb in place, and then slide your back plate over it, and then pop it in. Boom, done. So that does it, guys. All you have to do now is put the slide back on.
If you've gotten value from this content, drop a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you'll be notified when new content drops. If you like or prefer live interaction, feel free to join us on the Builders Tribe YouTube channel. We go live every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern for the Builders Tribe Tuesday Fireside Chat. We'll answer your questions and a whole lot more. I hope to see you over there. Until then, let's get back to building.